Good morning. Welcome in. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm Deborah. This is Purusha Intuitive, and we're going to be looking at the daily energy, the collective energy for today, Monday, March 4th. So happy Monday. I hope you had a fabulous weekend. It was so nice here. I spent a lot of the time with my son, being outside. It was just, I even think I got a little sun. It was pretty fabulous. I hope you enjoyed it just as much as I did. It's important to have those days that we just really rejuvenate our mind, our body, our soul, taking a break from all the hubbub of life, right? It's been a lot lately, you know, there's a lot of tension floating around in the air, especially in the relationships that we're dealing with. And so we're just trying to get through it. We're just trying to take it one step at a time, one day at a time. That's really going to be our best bet. Try not to take on too much right now because it can feel really overwhelming. We have a lot playing on our emotions, our feelings, our intuitive world. There's a cluster of planets in Pisces right now. And so it just brings a lot of stuff up. And hopefully, with whatever you're navigating through, you're finding a little peace in the process. Emotions can be really hard to control, to manage. They can feel pretty defeating, right? But at the same time, they give us that indicator as to what's working, what's not, where we need a little bit more love, care, and attention. So we're just going to start out with an energy cleansing. Feel free to grab a smudge bundle if you have one on hand. You can always receive what I'm doing on my end. It's a great time to set intention, asking questions, messages you would like to hear from this reading, and really just removing any blocks, obstacles that are kind of standing in our way, that are making it hard to see clearly or feel grounded in our pursuits, right? Like what we're going after, what we're trying to achieve. Or you can skip ahead. I think I've been a little bit bad about the chapters lately, so I apologize. It's been busy on my end. I bless you with pure love and light, pure source energy, pure loving grace. I release anything that does not serve our highest and best. Any blocks, obstacles, things that are getting in the way, fear, doubt, anxiety, uncertainty. Ooh, it's a smoky one today. Just release all those things. Help me to be an open and clear message channel for the collective. Thank you, Father God, Spirit Guides, Guardian Angels, Mama. Amen. All right, so Monday is the day of the moon, and the moon really does stir up a lot of our feelings and emotions, like I was saying. It's been a heavy fixture lately in our readings. Yeah, it is really time to heal. I definitely get this vibe. I've been pretty exhausted this weekend, and no matter how much sleep I get, it just seems like it's not enough, you know? So you might need to take a little extra time, love, and care for yourself, as I was saying. As a side note, these messages are always timeless whenever you find them, as long as they resonate. Just use your discernment, obviously. If it's meant for you, you will know, you'll feel it. I also do personal readings. Hit me up if you're interested. I love to help and support. Definitely make sure to like and subscribe. You guys know the drill. I feel like I have to say that. I don't know. Everyone knows how YouTube works, right? It's always nice though, because when you do like, when you do subscribe, when you do comment, it throws it out into the algorithms. So needing that surrender. I love the way it's depicted on this card too, because it really reminds me of what we're traveling through right now. It can feel really chaotic. It can feel really overwhelming, or just like we've had enough. We're ready to be done is what I'm hearing. And, you know, the sun is square to the moon is square to Mercury. Both the sun and Mercury and Saturn and Neptune are all in Pisces. So again, that value of really charging up our emotional world. Our dream space is very active, very busy, so pay attention to the dreams that you're having. Yes, they can be premonitions and foreshadowings, but it also is a place that we do a lot of healing work, especially on those more subtler layers, the subconscious, things that we might not be aware of. And they really give us insight into the places that we need a little growth. We need more abundance. We might be feeling a little lonely right now. Like the only support we have is ourselves. Like we can't really be very self-reliant on people or those situations in our outside environment. So, you know, it's not saying like don't rely on people. Yes, I think that's important. Our communications with that moon square to Mercury might get a little bit lost in translation, especially if you're talking about something that really is triggering for you, is making you feel really emotional. But what I like is the moon is actually harmoniously aspected to Venus and Mars, and they've been following each other around lately. They're in Aquarius right now. So we're really kind of laying the groundwork, planning the foundation for what we desire, our hopes, our dreams, how we want our life to play out. And the moon, again, going back to that concept of our emotions being the indicator of what's working and what's not, it's going to help us know where to put our energy, our time, etc. But it's, you know, we're dealing with some, it's a little bit of, you know, some roadblocks. Like I feel like we, you know, move forward a little bit and then we get stopped. We move forward a little bit and then we get stopped. That's that energy that can feel very exhausting. But there is light at the end of the tunnel is what I'm hearing. We got to keep moving forward in our direction with that guidance energy. This guidance is in our, it is in our outside environment today. So I feel like you're dealing with someone or something that is being redirected towards you, whether this is energy from the past or someone or something new that you're bringing in. You are really having to look at your shadow. So this kind of just confirms everything I was just saying in the very beginning. The places that feel a little bit heavier or uglier, or maybe we need to look at some patternings within ourselves, how we're showing up, how we're dealing with those relationships in our environment, and what we're naturally gravitating towards. I really, you know, in terms of patterning, if we're not 100% aware of where this plays out for us, it's really good to just kind of look over past situations, what we've dealt with, how we've interacted with those people, places, and things, and seeing, you know, the patterning, essentially. It really helps give light on stuff that we need to be cautious and aware of. There is a lot of noise going on, and it's creating a lot of chaos. Whether this is person or situation is doing it from your outside environment, trying to shake things up a little bit, trying to get you to look over here when they're doing stuff over here, that type vibe. But there is just a lot of chaos. And when we are in these spaces, the best thing we can do is find ways to ground and align with our energy. This happens naturally through practices like transcendental meditation, taking time to meditate, calm, quiet your mind, pranayamic breathing, any type of breathing technique that kind of brings back that harmony and that balance within. Yoga, it means union, union of opposites, right? Or you can go take a walk out in nature, do some journal prompts, read something inspirational, do some self-reflection. All that stuff, yes, it takes time, but at the same time, it allows us the clarity so it doesn't feel so noisy, so it doesn't feel so chaotic with what we're dealing with. And Unfortunately, right now in the astrology, we are dealing with more tense aspects. We're leading up to a new moon, solar eclipse, I believe. I'll do a video on that in the future. But up until then, until I do that video, we just have to recognize that we are going to be feeling the feels a lot, especially around what we're changing. Venus and Mars are square. It's a tense aspect to Uranus. And I always look at Uranian energy as it's our rebellious energy, right? It's when we're kind of like rebelling against the norm, fighting for the little man, fighting for ourselves, what we want, what we desire, how we want those things to play out. And when we feel tension and resistance towards the new, it's easier to divert back into old patterns and habits, right? So disillusionment, and that's really what's blocking us right now. I'm hearing this as the chaos that's going on around you. It's trying to distract you from the truth of what actually is, especially in relation to old people, places, people that have been around for a while, situations, relationships where we're finding tension, frustration, etc. It's really kind of breaking apart this disillusionment, this idea that we thought this thing was, you know, that we thought this relationship was. And it's actually working out that it's just not that way. But, you know, we always have people who don't want us to see, right? Trying to create these distraction mechanisms, trying to push the agenda, right? Creating the noise and the chaos, trying to throw that our way so we do get distracted. So we're not as aligned with our path, or we don't have enough time to do the things that really matter for us. I honestly felt like that a lot this weekend because I was so exhausted, and it came out of nowhere, you know. I mean, I have a tendency to be probably a little too busy than I should, but with that in mind, I mean, I still have been really mindful about my wellness practice. That sets the foundation, that really gives us the platform to be able to achieve all we want. And it just like wasn't working. It wasn't working. And I do think a lot of this is that heavier energy in Pisces, where, you know, it can be very exhausting for our mental, emotional, and spiritual body. So just take that into account. I'm hearing the moon, obviously the day of the moon, does represent the feminine. It is a space of nurture and support for our own being, finding that inner balance. And when we are in these processes, we need to embrace the good, the bad, ugly. So if you're having a lot pop off right now, just try to create extra space for your heart, you know. Rest a little bit more. Like I said, do some grounding exercises, whatever works for you, whatever gives you a little rejuvenation, an extra pep in your step, etc. Because it's really, things are coming to head with this choice card. And this is something we've definitely been feeling underneath the surface that's coming up for us. Yeah, so we're getting ready. We're getting ready. And we have been getting ready. And it can feel a little overwhelming. It can feel exhausting, like I said. Doing shadow work is never fun because we do have to see parts of ourselves that we don't like, parts of ourselves that we disempower to other people who treat us in ways that we don't like. And it's very humbling. And there's a lot of grief that is interwoven within that. So be gentle with yourself. Give yourself that extra space. Cry if you need to. Let it out. Scream, shout. What are those cool, there's those places that you can like go smash things. You know, if you feel like a lot of pent up aggression or anger, try one of those. You know, go break some shit. Get it out, baby, get it out. My son poor baby, was just very emotional this weekend. I love, the reflection of kids, just as a side note, because they pick up the energy that much more readily, And a lot of this chaos, a lot of what's going on around you, it's coming out of people or situations, their own anxiety, their own fears around the situation, around the change. And so all they know how to do is create that noise and that chaos. Interestingly, though, Spirit is redirecting them back to you. And I'm hearing this as like wrapping things up, finding closure, finding a way to like close the door on one chapter so you can move into something new. But it's stressing them out. High Priestess energy definitely connects us to that Piscean value where we're sensing a lot of the things going on around us, and they don't really like it. We're still coming out quite balanced. I like that your energy is remaining stable, even though you are dealing with the harder things. Honestly, this is a practice that is so challenging, so be proud of yourself. Even though you're dealing with things that are more challenging, even if you have to look at parts of yourself that are a little bit more difficult, you're seeing it and you're handling it like a champion, which I love for you. That value. Yeah, because you know what's coming in. You see this new partnership on the horizon. This has been popping up for us a lot within this last week. Yes, a little bit here and there over the past couple months. But again, this is what we've been preparing for. So you do have to be vigilant with this Nine of Wands, especially when it comes to the chaos, the distraction, the noise, trying not to get thrown off balance. Keep pushing forward. Don't let people, places, and things knock you off course. I hear that the noise is an attempt to do so, right? Creating that chaos. So you're looking in a different direction and not really paying attention to what's actually going on. And it is making life a little busy right now. So we have more energy, more momentum in the collective to achieve, making sure you're using that energy in the right way, not expending it so much on the chaos. Yes, if you have to address it, do so. Keep it short, simple, and sweet. It doesn't need to become a big thing. And we know when we're starting to go down that path. We know when we're starting to spiral, or words we can use in a situation that will make it spiral. And Spirit's asking you, to the best of your ability, remain grounded. Keep that, that foresight of those new beginnings in front of you. Easier said than done, right? Like when we feel like we're being attacked. But there is a lot of, again, Five of Cups, disappointment with what didn't work out. It is Scorpio energy. It's when we get too lost in our emotions, too hung up on the things that we wish were different. And that's just the nature of life, right? Some things work out, some things don't. Some things stay with us long term, some things don't. And when we can detach from like that value of, staying too attached to people, places, and things too long, it really just kind of lends towards our suffering. Maharishi Mahesh talks about how the best way to find happiness and fulfillment is through change, continuing to evolve, continuing to grow and expand. When we are limited, when we do create resistance, it only causes that pain and suffering because it's blocking the flow, right? It's if it was like a windpipe or something. Restriction blocks the flow. It doesn't allow that prana or that life force to move through our being. And even if we think of it on a creative end, right? Stagnancy really blocks our ability to be creative, to find new solutions, new ideas, new potential. And we have that available to us at all times. But when we're lost in the woe is me, I'm so disappointed with how this worked out, shoulda, woulda, coulda, that type of vibe, it actually does cater more to the disillusionment. It makes us think that things are you know, it is a way of like putting on rose-colored glasses. We can be so clear in our anger, in our offenses when we're in the situation, like in the heat of the moment, right? But then a little bit of time goes by and we're like, well, maybe. We start convincing ourselves. And that's what the Five of Cups is saying, that it's blocking us. We need to find ways to rise above. I do also feel like this is part of that past residual energy. Knight of Swords is Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. It's someone who makes plans of action, right? The Knight of Swords is really good at strategizing his next moves and being really smart and calculated about how he does so. And this does definitely feel like it is attached to some past energies. People trying to reel you back in, get you back onto their side, so to speak. But you're not interested because you want this newness, right? You want this new Two of Cups energy that is waiting for you. Whether it's romantic or not, this can be new partnership, new friendship, community coming in, etc. It's the beginning of something new that's good. And in a way that we feel like, okay, this is it, right? Like I'm finally getting you know, that abundance that I've been looking for. I'm finally getting the validation that I've been seeking, the people, places, and things that will support me. But we need to be putting ourselves out there, you know. We need to embrace that. We need to get out of the old a little bit more. And we're struggling to do that. 21:21 on the clock. I think this is a lot back to what we've been through, some of the trauma that is still lingering from the past. Places we've tried to work with people, situations, and it's just fallen flat, and it can feel incredibly defeating. That's also where this Five of Cups energy is coming into play. We wanted it to be different, so now we're a little hesitant on actually, you know, putting ourselves out there, finding something new, finding this partnership that is like very much available for us. You know, and I'm not saying you have to go search for it, but you do have to put yourself out there, right? It's that quintessential, like, Amazon's not dropping it off at your house, right? Like, you actually have to go do something, you know, put yourself out there. Let people see you, you know? Let that little light shine. So bright. So, okay, Ten of Swords on the choice card. Repeated mistakes. Wisdom gained after struggle. Yeah, moving towards... It's like, here's the thing. You have the choice. You can choose to go back to the past, or you can choose to move forward with this Ace of Pentacles. I love the Ace of Pentacles in this deck because it does really remind me of the Sun card. It promises us new beginnings, hope, affirmation, life-affirming aspects that we bring into our world. And we have to be confident in that. I know it's not, it's easier said than done because, you know, there's also this value that what is surrounding us is like the easiest thing to believe, right? And so if we are surrounded by a lot of toxicity, unhealthy behavior, if we're doing a lot of work around really letting go of those people, places, and things, it can be hard to believe in the new. But Spirit's reminding us that there is divine timing in all things. We have to wait for all the pieces to come together in order for these new opportunities to come in. And I feel like part of this moving a little bit at a snail's pace, why we haven't seen a lot of new opportunities, or it's the one that feels like that's it. That's going to get me to the next level. That is what's coming in for us. It hasn't arrived quite yet, so try not to get too despondent. Again, that value of divine timing. And in the process, we have to stay vigilant. Vigilant to what we are cutting off. Vigilant to what we are releasing and letting go of. The more we do it, the more we actually like honor ourselves, honor our life path. Spirit talk, we got this one last time I recorded, I believe. So Spirit is trying to connect with us, remembering back to the very beginning of the reading where it was talking about our need to calm and quiet our heart, mind, and soul. We're going to have better guidance, better direction when we do. We're going to be able to hear that still small voice, our intuition, spirit speaking to us in those spaces to give us that knowledge that we need. I love that, double confirmation. Because the knowledge is actually, there's that value, that knowledge really dispels fear. When we educate ourselves, when we learn, when we take courage and find a way to gain more information, it's amazing how much it settles our spirit, right? We can get so wrapped in the anxiety of the unknown. But as soon as we inform ourselves, it's like, okay, I got this. Then we start feeling our creative juices working, and we start thinking of new ways, new avenues that we can go about something. And it feels way more life affirming than staying stuck in the fear, right? And I know I experience anxiety. It can be really challenging. It does come from these more sly and subtle values. A sly and subtle approach is needed. Move in silence and don't reveal everything you know until you're ready. So that is a confirmation on other messages we've been receiving lately. Really keeping things to yourself, what you're growing, what you're birthing. You know, it doesn't mean you have to be secret about everything, but maybe not overly divulge information or give really surface topical information. That's going to help keep you, protected, because you are building and growing towards your dreams, and these are desiring to manifest. Something will be revealed in a dream, or your angels are encouraging you to pursue your dreams. So that's double confirmation on that Neptune in Pisces that I was talking about. Our dream work is really important right now. If it's something you vibe with, definitely look into it. Write down your dreams when you wake up, or if you wake up in the middle of the night. Just take a minute, jot a couple words down, and go back to sleep. It really gives us insight into what is happening, right? Things that we still need to heal, things that where the anxiety is, where the fear is. But then it also helps us to shed those things so we can really cling on to what we're excited about, what we're passionate about. So take care of yourself, especially today with the noise and the chaos that's going on around us. You don't have to sink into it. You don't have to dive into it. You can be strong. You can overcome it. You are overcoming it. You remember, you are working in this very balanced and strategic way. And if there are some shadow things that come up for you today, just make sure to find some grounding within that. It's an opportunity to put what you've learned to practice. Put those tools into practice. And I think you're going to be really surprised with what comes through, because we have a little bit more balance in the astrology as well, just in terms of the elements, where the water energy is still pretty dominant, but we're also kind of gaining in our fire, in our air, and our earth. So we're finding a little more grounding and balance, and then that fire gives us the motivation to rise above and push forward. So that's what I have for you guys today. If you made it this far, thank you so much for your time and energy. I really appreciate you. It means a lot to my heart, to the channel. Definitely drop comments below. I love to hear what resonates. I love to support and give as much love as possible. Thank you for your love to this channel. It means so much to my heart. Sending all the love and blessings back your way.